Stacy from Let's Cook, y'all. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, welcome. We are so glad you're here. We hope you like what you see and you click that red subscribe button. To all of our returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the support. It really does mean a lot to us, and we're so glad that you hopefully are enjoying the content of our channel. Today we have another cooking video for you. This is a couple of crock pot recipes that we've made. So a couple of them are tried and true. We hope you enjoy the video and you'll like, comment, and subscribe. Have a wonderful and blessed day, y'all. Bye. Today, I wanted to show you a quick and easy way to make some meatballs from scratch that you can cook in your slow cooker or crock pot. And you can use them, as I'm gonna do today, just over spaghetti and meatballs. So I'm gonna make a little extra sauce, or you can cut the sauce back with the meatballs and use them for meatball subs or hoagies or heroes. So the list of ingredients is you'll need some kind of a slow cooker or crock pot. You'll need 1 pound or a little more, 1.5 pounds of beef. The original recipe, I believe, was on Pinterest. One of my sisters pinned it and made it. Told me she really enjoyed it. I think she used turkey. I'm going to use ground chicken today because I have it in my freezer. It needs to be used. You can use any meat or any combination of meat you like. And for the 1 to 1 1/4 pounds of meat, you'll need 1 egg, a half teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper, some garlic, a half a cup of Italian or regular style breadcrumbs. You could probably use fresh bread. I just always followed the recipe and used the dried. About a 1/4 cup or a little more of chopped onion, diced onion, and about a half a cup of Parmesan. I'm going to use a mix of the cheap grated kind and the little less than cheap shredded kind. And then, as I said, I'm going to make a little more sauce that these cook in. The original recipe, I believe, calls for a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce that they added some red wine to. I don't keep wine on hand, so I'm going to take a little bit larger pasta sauce since I'm going to serve it over spaghetti and mix it with some other seasonings and probably a little bit of cheese. And I do have some mushrooms left over in my produce drawer. I'm trying to decide right now if I'm going to add mushrooms to the sauce. But I'm going to go ahead and mix up the meatballs and make them and get them started. So. Okay, y'all, I am gonna add a few more breadcrumbs. I find sometimes that turkey and chicken, or maybe it's meat that has been frozen and thawed back out, is a little wetter. And I don't want these to be too wet. I want them to have enough dryness that they hold together as meatballs. So I am gonna add in a little bit more. You can do that, or you can go with the recipe. Unfortunately, I don't always follow recipes. I do the first time, but every other subsequent time I try to check and adjust. So I'm gonna get these mixed up and rolled into meatballs. Okay, y'all, I went ahead and I did add a little bit more breadcrumb. I went ahead and rolled my chicken meatballs out, or turkey you could use. And now I'm gonna make the sauce. I'm gonna take the exact same bowl, dirty though it was. The original recipe even said to use the same one. Got a little bit of the residue from the meat mixture. The original recipe called for a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce combined with a 1/4 cup of red wine, which I don't use. I've always done this. It's taken either tomato sauce or, in this case, bottled spaghetti or pasta sauce, and I'm gonna basically zhuzh it up a little bit. I'm just gonna add some seasonings. Once your meatballs are covered with the sauce, you want to put them on low for about 4 to 6 hours. In my case, I'm going to turn them on high for about 2 or 3. And I will cut into one and check to make sure it's done. Then I will serve it with some pasta. Like I said, you can also use this for meatball subs. They make really good subs. My meatballs are done. I've cooked them in my slow cooker, which is an old thing called a West Bend, on a high setting for about, it was about 3 hours. The original recipe says to cook them on low for about 5 to 6. You can always just cut one open and see if they're done. But these are my slow cooker chicken or turkey meatballs. Today I wanted to share with you one of our favorite recipes. It is not gourmet. It is just good, plain comfort food that we have year-round, but a lot of times in the winter. This is a Crockpot recipe. It's an easy dump recipe. It goes in for 6 to 8 hours. You can do it 4 hours on high. So it's perfect if you want to put it in before you leave for work. You can mix up the sauce the night before, and you're just going to basically cook beans and some kind of a sausage with a sauce. As always, the recipe is listed below with the ingredients. Basically, it's 4 kinds of beans. The original recipe uses Great Northern, black beans, kidney beans, and either a lima bean or a butter bean. That uses 4 cans of beans for the 2 of us. It makes an awful lot of food, and we sometimes get tired of it. So I have recently found a tri-bean blend. So instead of using 4 cans, I'm just going to use 2 since I am cooking for 2. I'm going to go ahead and make the whole amount of sauce and cut up the sausage. If you wanted to make this the night before, I would recommend, I've never done it, but I would recommend trying to go ahead and mix up the sauce, store it in the fridge, and then in the morning it's a matter of draining the beans, cutting up the sausage, mixing it all together, and putting it on low in the crock pot. So let me show you how I make our crock pot beans and sausage. All right, the original recipe says that you can just mix everything in the crock pot, but since I am using a liner, I'm going to go ahead and mix it in a separate bowl. I've already measured out my garlic. Add the ketchup. If you're using the 4 cans of beans, I would go ahead and use the full 1.5 cups. But since I'm just using 2 cans, I'm going to use 1 cup. Chopped onion, Worcestershire sauce, dry mustard, hot sauce or Tabasco, and the brown sugar. Add the 4 or in my case 2 cans of drained beans, the sausage, any kind will work. I have used deer sausage, I have used smoked sausage, I have used this turkey smoked sausage, any kind of a kielbasa will work. Then the sauce, and then we're just going to mix it up and get it going. Set it on low for about 8 to 9 hours. And then we'll come back and see what it looks like. All right, the beans and sausage have cooked for right about 9 hours. I may be a little overdone, but they're all right. We don't mind them when they break down. Still really hot. You can serve it with cornbread, bread, or whatever, rice, or whatever you like. That is Crockpot sausage and beans. Today I want to share with you an easy recipe for making creamy chicken with artichokes in the crock pot. As always, the recipe is listed below. I'll go over the ingredients really quick. I have everything today except a small jar of pimento, but I have made it without the pimentos. It's fine to leave it out. You'll need some kind of chicken. These are chicken tenders that we're going to poach on the stove, which I'll show you in a second. And then basically you just combine everything else in the crock pot and serve it over pasta. You'll need some chicken, some frozen or jarred artichoke hearts. If they're jarred, you'll go ahead and drain them. Some Alfredo sauce, some garlic, some chicken bouillon or paste, and some seasonings and salt and pepper. So let me show you how we make creamy chicken with artichokes in the crock pot. Even though this is a crock pot dish, for some reason the recipe calls for you poaching the chicken on the stovetop. I've just taken some water and put some chicken bouillon in it and flavored it up with lemon pepper, salt, and a little garlic. We're going to poach the chicken and then add it to the crock pot. I don't know why you can't just cook everything all together, but I've been making this, I looked on my recipe since 2005, and I've just always done it this way. It's the way it was written. So we're going to poach the chicken lightly on the stovetop in some flavored water before we add it to the crock pot. So I basically dumped everything else in. You could add the pimentos. I don't have them. I think I may try to add some mushrooms towards the end. I've got some fresh mushrooms here. I have another recipe that is an oven-baked chicken with artichokes, and I've added mushrooms to it, so I may do that. So you basically dump it, cover it up. You can put it on low for about 4 hours or high for about 2, and we will come back and check it and see how it's doing. Basically everything's cooked. It just needs to heat through. Okay, the chicken and the artichokes have cooked for a couple hours for me on high, or about 3 or 4 on low. I'm actually going off the reservation today. I have not tried this before. I'm just going to take my kitchen shears and kind of chop everything up. I'm going to add a little crushed red pepper. I tasted it, it's good, but Tim would probably like it with a little more spice, and I'm gonna add a little bit more salt and pepper. I'm also going to try some fresh mushrooms. I have not tried this before. I could be ruining the recipe, or we can make it, as Tim likes to say, more better. Cross my fingers and hope I haven't ruined it. And we served the creamy chicken with artichokes, and in this case I added mushrooms. Over today, some penne pasta, the original recipe, which is linked below, calls for spaghetti, but you could probably do it over any kind of noodle you like. As with all crockpot dishes, it does not look that great, but I promise it tastes good. And I hope you enjoy this crockpot dish. Thanks so much for stopping by our channel. Let's cook, y'all. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe if you hadn't already. Have a wonderful and blessed day, y'all. Bye.